So we have live inside of the studio Princeton. And he's my very special guest this afternoon on Heart, Mind, and Soul to Soul. Welcome, Princeton, to Heart, Mind, and Soul to Soul.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Wonderful. I know you're happy to be here. And I know you're happier to be in Jamaica.
Definitely.
All right. You know, you have a very proud dad. And he, you know, was beaming when he introduced me first to your music, the one called Jamaica. And that's the one that we have been playing for quite a while. And then it was after that that I met you. And there was an instant attraction, because what I found and what I liked about you is that in spite of being humble and gracious, and sometimes not as talkative as I would prefer you to be, in spite of all of that, you are very confident.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, so, you know, it's not often we find that combination, but, you know, for those listening, don't let this humility mistake you for anything like lack of confidence, because no go so. So now I have the chance to find out more about Princeton. You know, I know you're Princeton Brown, and I know you go by the name Princeton Brown.
Yes.
But every time I'm playing your music, I just find myself saying the Princeton.
The Princeton.
The Princeton.
You like that one?
The Princeton. Anyway, let's find out a little bit about you, because there's a lot that we need to find out. All right, you were born in and raised in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yes.
You have a Jamaican father who is actually from the Garden Parish of St. Anne. Tell us first of all about growing up as a kid in Minnesota. What was that like?
Minneapolis is a nice place to grow up for a family and raise a family. It was a nice upbringing, and I come from a very good, strong community and good neighborhood. And I go through the public school system, where I learn a lot of my music. I learn piano, drums, bass. Minneapolis is a very artistic place, and it's very developed in the arts and big on the arts. So I was honored and you know, fortunate enough to grow up in a place that really supports the arts and gives back to everybody who's trying to come up and do something artistic.
Okay, great. All right. Let's talk about, let's get a little deeper into you personally and how you personally were raised. Let's talk about your parents.
Yes.
I know that you're of mixed race and also mixed culture. First, let's talk about your mother, because we're going to get to your daddy. But I don't know much about your mom. So let us talk about your mom and how she has influenced you and how she raised you.
Definitely. My mom is a very artistic person as well.
Oh, really?
Yes, very artistic, creative person. And she is a strong woman. She owns her own business. And she went to school, college, to be an artist, a drawer and a painter. She has tons of paintings and drawings.
Really?
Yes, and she's very, very talented. And she also learned piano from a young age as well. So that's where I kind of develop that, you know. And I know as growing up, I couldn't go outside and play with anybody before I, got my piano lesson in, that they made sure, my parents, make sure that I practice my piano, practice my drums. And so they just, I'm pleased. I'm honored, and they grow me the right way.
So, I didn't know that. So that means that you really were not just supported in the community, but you have a mother who understands what it means to be creative.
Yes, and she supports it 100%, and
Okay.
I'm thankful for that, because, a lot of artists, they don't have that support sometimes, and it's just great to have parents who have supported you.
A lot of people don't have that support. So, for those listening who don't have that support, most people don't have that support,
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I tell my friends all the time, it wasn't, my father asked me for years when I go and get a real job. Don't know, honestly. So I know that, many people can identify with what I just said.
True,
all right, so you have a mom that supports you.
Yes.
All right, and tell us how she raised you, apart from making sure that you had piano lessons.
So my mom, you would describe my mom as the yes mom.
What that means?
Yes mom means, I'm her little son, so it's kind of just a different relationship between mother and son. It seemed like, a lot of things that I always want, she's always the one to say yes.
Oh. You spoil. I get you. Okay, so you're like mama's boy.
But there's also a flip side to that, because wherever the mom says yes, now I have the father.
Lord have mercy. I mean, know the father. Which is a good balance, you know.
Definitely.
But, you know, sometimes, which is good too, because sometimes I'll get to that. But I know you have a sister. And when your dad started, I mean, I know your dad loves you and very proud of you, but you see, when him start to talk about him daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Lord have mercy. Trust me. So I guess she would say she has a yes dad.
Oh yes dad, yes dad. Anything for the daughter, for real.
All right, let's talk about your dad now. What is it like growing up in Minnesota with a Jamaican father?
It's very different. You see right away the principles and the morals instilled in myself, and now growing up with my dad coming from and born from Jamaica. He always has a parable for anything and everything I do.
Tell me some of them. Tell me some of the Jamaican parables your dad taught you.
Well, the first one that comes to my mind is, growing up, it's like, he always says that if you want a tree to grow up strong and straight, you have to bend the limb from a young, yeah.
Right.
So they go on. But,
right.
There's many more that, there's a ton of them. I can't remember all of them because there's so many, but
yeah.
Those things I always keep in mind when I'm growing up and, amongst, my friends and who I'm choosing to be around. And, he always makes, as I said, he's the no dad, so a lot of things.
He's a no dad.
Not for everything, but in a good way, in a loving way.
Dad.
Yeah, strict and because he instills everything that he stands for and believes in into me, and he sees everything in which I can become, and so I couldn't ask for nothing more from a father.
All right, you talk about the parables that your dad instilled in you and parables that he learned when he was a child here in Jamaica. What else was it about your dad as a Jamaican in Minnesota that he taught you that perhaps your friends around you who didn't have Jamaican dads didn't really get?
Why? What is it? And probably just teach me, one of the main things is probably just teach me, watch who you're around and make sure you're around positive people. And, because not anybody I can just come and just bring to my house and where we live, We take that stuff very seriously, who you bring to your house and who knows where you live. And so he always want to make sure who I'm around is good people. And, if I can bring them back the second time to my house, that's how you know. That's how you know it's a good somebody that he sees,
Right. So he vets them before they can come back again.
Yes, my father is I would say, is more of a spiritual person. If in regards to my mom, my father is more spiritual in that, he can really see through people and he can really understand a person the first time he meets them, He gets a vibe and he can understand. So that's why, if I bring someone to the house and he doesn't feel away or something, he'll just let it go on till then, but, there ain't gonna be a next time. That's a no dad.
I love that. That sounds like a Jamaican. Because the Jamaican people are some spirit tech people,
Yeah, spirit.
If them spirit not take you, it's not good pretty. So that is, it's just so good that you even speak this way, and you really do understand your dad, because that's a very good observation. Your dad is more spiritual, and he can see through things, and that is definitely part of our culture, Jamaican culture. All right, you studied and gained a Bachelor of Science degree in physics.
Yes.
But when you were growing up as a child, what was your burning desire? When you jumped up in the morning, what made you jump up in the morning? I don't think it's physics.
Trust me.
But tell me what it was.
Trust me, it wasn't physics right away. But I'll be honest, when I was younger, I always wanted to be a football player. When I was very, very young. Every day I'd be out in the street with my friends, playing soccer, you know, any minute that we could, you know. But music was always a part of me from when I was young too. Always, yeah.
You describe yourself as a lifelong student of music, right? And I find that a very interesting description. Tell us about that.
Okay. Lifelong student of music. So I've been blessed to learn many different instruments. I've picked up from a young age of 4, the piano, the drums, the bass. I played violin at one point, played guitar, and I'm always wanting to increase the amount of instruments that I know. And for whatever reason, I've always been around musicians from when I was little. My father, he was a DJ back in the days, even from Jamaica. And then
what kind of DJ? Selector or rapper?
Both.
Oh, good.
Both.
Okay. All
you know,
right.
so
This is
talented like that.
This is in your blood. This is on both sides.
Definitely. So from when I was young, you know, growing up in Minneapolis, my father, he had a sound system, and he would bring up a lot of artists from Jamaica, such as Freddie McGregor, Diplomat, bunch of people. And we had a studio in our basement, and music would never stop playing, because even when I'm upstairs in my room playing video games or something, the music still resonating through the house, you know.
Right.
Or even, you know, when I'm doing my thing, I'm always humming. When I was a little kid, I used to hum all the time, and I was serious. And I can remember when I'd be listening to some music on my dad's system, and he would always, you know, do the DJ thing on top of the sound, you know, the music that's playing and everything. And I would always say, no, take away the mic. And I would go, shh, you know, I just want to hear the song. You know, when I was little.
When you know why you're daddy a DJ? Well, you know the manners. You know what? When you look, hey, Bridget, you look like your father, but you know, anyway. So it's how you smile a while ago. Your father smiled that, you know, me tell you a favor. Your father bad man. Anyway, so what you say, you were more interested in the music.
Yes, listening. And I was always a conscious listener from when I was young.
Okay, so the instruments that you learned to play, you mentioned playing the piano from home.
Yes.
So the other instruments that you learned to play, did your school environment support that?
Oh, yes. As I said, growing up in Minneapolis, Minnesota, with the arts programming that we have, all through middle school, high school, college, everything, I've been a part of jazz bands. So I've played jazz music. I've played concert music, which you would call classical music. I've been in orchestras with lugging around big old, you know, acoustic basses that is double my body size and everything, you know. I've been in just about everything. My school system there has offered a lot in terms of what we can do musically and express. So
let me ask you this, because you've been supported musically by your community and also at home, and you talk about these whole heap of different genres that you have been exposed to. At any point, did you feel bombarded with the different kinds of music and having to now choose, my God, which one am I really, you know?
It was never a hard decision to know which direction I want to go, because the way that I love Jamaica and how I've come here ever since I was 3 years old, you know, nonstop. It's just the culture and the reggae music. That's something that's just like, it vibrates inside of me.
Even with all the classical music and all the,
yes.
all this wonderful piano playing and
yes.
all the guitar, all the violin and all.
And I love it all. You know, and I try and incorporate all of that as much as I can still in my music. You know, I can't. It's gonna be there because that's a part of me too, and that grow with me too.
Right.
But reggae music and the ability for me to be able to bring such positive messages and just the joyfulness of the music still is, I can't, you know, there's a certain love for it.
We're going to come back to that because that's a whole topic all onto itself, right? But early this morning, I was listening to some of the songs that I didn't have that you sent me. And in addition to the ones that I've known before, there is a purity of spirit that comes out in your music.
Thank you.
And I know it cannot come out in your music if it's not there. You know, so let me just say that. Even no matter what the topics are, there's just a purity of spirit that comes out. Let us play this song, and then I'm going to ask you about your writing and what particularly motivated this and other songs.
Definitely.
Oh.
Simple living I need, where there's no complexity. Yeah. Simple living I need. If you feel the same, come join me. Easy living, but 1 + 2 = 3. Easy living, where there's no such thing as trees. No more
Simple living I need with no complexity. I'm telling you, this is a song that I don't have on my playlist, but when I heard it, when I was listening this morning, the sweetest time for listen music is all 2, 3 o'clock a morning. Because then it's just a silence. And the silence allows you to just hear what needs to be heard. And listening to this song, 3 o'clock in the morning, a pure smile. What inspired this song first, and then I'm going to ask you what inspires your writing generally.
Definitely. This song, Simple Living, it all started from being able to come back and forth between living in America and living here, and the contrast between the two. And when I grow up where I'm from in America, it's more fast-paced, and it is more complex in many different ways. One of the main things that I get from coming down here is that food here, a different thing that really gets me is food down here. I describe it as real food, whereas food up where I come from home in the grocery stores and everything, it's still a weird concept for me to go in a grocery store and everything laid out so pretty and everything. And it's just like food is real, and how we interact with one another down here is real. And I don't know, it just come from a lot of the differences between what I see in America and Jamaica. And
I understand very well, you know, and for those of us who travel also, especially those of us who travel to, you know, developed countries like you, where you're from, there really is a big difference between, as you said, just as simple as food. You know what I mean? And I don't want to disrespect anybody else's food.
No,
you know,
disrespect.
No disrespect. But there's a realness about our food that sometimes, you know, you get the feeling that the other food's just too refined. It's, you know, moderate, you know, it's like it has been changed, you know, and our food rough and real, you know, so I know exactly what you mean. So that motivated this particular song. And I'm sure, you know what I love about it? You see, although it's a Jamaican experience that motivated the song, there are people around the world from different cultures, different countries, different nations, different nationality, different races, who just love simple living. You
Exactly.
know, you know what I mean? So it resonates among that kind of person, whoever they are, you know? So I want to say big up to all the people of the world who really understand what it means to just live simply.
I'm happy.
And wow. And happy. Because it comes with happiness, doesn't it?
Definitely.
I love that. I love how you said that. All right. What motivates your writing generally?
It comes in two different forms. It can start from the music. A lot of the times I listen to the music since I grew up being a musician first. A lot of the times the music and the different instrumentation that are in song tell me what to write. And then other times I don't ever try and force myself to sit down and say, I'm going to write a song today. It's always something that just comes effortlessly into my mind when I could be doing anything, and it just comes.
Tell me how instruments can actually dictate the song that you write.
I feel every instrument that, I include in a track, whether I record it or somebody else, I feel it as if it's talking to me. So it's saying something to me, every single one. The way it sounds, the rhythm, the way it's played, everything. So, and I feel as though a huge and important part in music is to make sure that lyrics and music have a supernatural bond among each other.
I love how you put that.
Yes.
You speak like a true artist. You are born to be creative. Because just the way how you say that tells me that you understand your subject matter to the T. Because a lot of times people force lyrics onto music. And for those of us listening, sometimes we don't even realize that is why we're not feeling it. Because, we don't necessarily, we're not necessarily as analytical as all of that. We just know we now feel it. But sometimes why we're not feeling it is because it's a forced motion. So for you to say that a while ago, that the music and the lyrics must just have a natural bond, it is so real. It is just so true. I notice you have a lot of passion for simplicity in terms of the lyrics that you write.
Definitely.
But you also write a real great love song. I tell you that. Yeah. Tell us a bit about some of the subjects that you write, and what do you feel passionately about?
Well, every single song I try and instill joy and happiness, even in some of the most emotional songs that I write, or sad songs. There's still a hint of just joyfulness and a light at the end of the tunnel that I try and cast on this music. And topics, as you said, can range from love song to a call for simplicity among humanity, or understanding current situations and what's going on amongst people and how we're treating each other. And so I love to talk about everything, but everything draws from my own experience. Definitely. Everything is real, and it's what I've experienced or seen in my lifetime, whether it's happening now or it's happened in the past. It's just a feeling and a memory that resonates inside of you that you just want to get out. Yeah.
Got you. Wow, we're going to take a break, and then when we come forward, who knows what I'll ask you.
I think I found my paradise. Little island in the ocean is so nice. The sun is always shining so bright. Can't even tell when the day turns to night. A smile's on the face, it's so wide. With open arms that welcome them inside. Come take a trip to the other side and taste my paradise. Talking about Jamaica, Jamaica, where everything is alright. Talking about Jamaica, Jamaica, where there's no worries in sight. Talking about Jamaica.
Princeton Brown. And he's my very special guest on Heart, Mind, and Soul to Soul today. And of course, we've been, I really hope you didn't miss the first part of our interview, because we learned so much about Princeton in the first half of our interview. We've been talking about playing musical instruments. We've been talking about an appreciation for music, but we haven't touched the voice. And one of the most striking things about Princeton is the voice. When did you realize that you were more than playing musical instruments, but you actually wanted to sing?
Yeah, this time I learned that I wanted to sing when I was in high school.
Okay.
And it was I was up at a camp with some friends, and it was a spiritual thing that we were going through, because it was a church camp. And so at that time, that's when, they keep asking me, come up and sing something. And that was the time I actually wrote my first song too. But just the way my voice, I never knew I had this voice because I've always been a musician. But then I seen how when I sing and it resonate with people and them love it. So from then on, around my high school days is when I really started to pick up singing.
Right. It's interesting that you said that, because somehow I just felt this morning when I was writing my questions, I just felt that Princeton didn't always think him could sing. I don't know why that came to me, but so your wanting to sing really was something that developed.
Developed, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Where on earth did you find time for academics?
Well, it was hard. Trust me. But it's something that my father and my mother must said. You have to get your degree. Academics was always a part of us growing up. We have to get good grades and do good in school. So for me to continue and do music and do other extra activities at that point in time, that's what I would call them. We had to get our homework done, study for our tests. So I always had to prioritize and put that before music in most situations growing up. Yeah.
Why physics? Did you always want, I know you have a Bachelor of Science in Physics. I know you always wanted to do music, but was physics your second love? How did you come to do physics?
Growing up, I always used to play with Legos and build things, and I was like putting things together and taking apart. And that's probably why I'm also a producer as well, because I love putting things together and seeing it come together. So for me to go to college and continue to do music, something that I already had been doing for many, many years, I decided I want to learn something new and broaden my horizons. And so physics just came naturally, even though it was really tough and a lot of unexpected challenges along the way in studying the material. But it's something that came from, just like music, it came from being young and just wanting to build and construct and create things and just understanding how things come together and work.
I got you. So have you been able to use your degree in any way?
Definitely. I teach right now math and physics at a high school back home in St. Paul.
Is there any... I'm sure you're going to have to search for this answer. But is there any relationship at all between physics and music?
Be your one.
What?
No, definitely there is.
There is? Let's hear about that.
There is. It's putting music is a mathematical thing because there's only so many different it's all combinations in rhythm, really. There's only so many things you can put in 8 bars, in different ways you can add things together. And it's the same part of the brain, they say, working together, music and math and physics and all of these things. So it could be a reason why I'm also very drawn to math and physics and those things, because it's the same part of that region of the brain, them say. Mm-hmm. But music and math, them go together because of the concepts of putting something together from beginning to end, and you have to calculate all of those things.
Yeah, I understand that. It's almost like a building process.
Yes.
You have to start the music, you have what you're going to put in the middle, you're going to have to determine what you're going to put next, why you're going to put it next, and why you want to end with that as opposed to that.
Right.
All right. And also the production of it. No, I get it now. Know that you're talking. I didn't have a clue before. But now that you're talking, I get it. I just getting it because I'm thinking to myself, physics and music, yeah, really? But I'm getting it now. And even with production and even with the board, mm-hmm. I guess it's the same side of the brain as you say, but a whole for people who singing and listening here now say, boy, really? Because them can't do much, but them can't sing.
True.
All right, who were some of your influences musically? Who were some of the artists that you listened to when you were growing up that influenced you to become who you are?
Growing up, I listened to a lot of Dennis Brown. That is one of my father's favorite artists. And I listened to Bob Marley, Luciano, Barris Hammond, Barrington Levi. Those are some of the reggae artists. Also, fall in love with John Legend and his playing because of how I came from playing piano and singing.
Love John Legend.
Oh, yes.
Love me some John Legend. John.
Alicia Keys, too.
Okay.
Because she does a similar thing.
Yeah.
And I love artists like Coldplay, too, that whole group, because I love their world sound. And I try and bring that in my music, too. You know, when I hear their music, it can cross many different boundaries, and people all over the world understand and feel what I'm saying. So I really love that, and those are few of the artists that I really look up to.
Right. And, you know, as you talk about that world sound, although I know that reggae is really where your passion is, even while I was playing Prescription, we started off with Prescription, I could hear some R&B, you know, and I could hear other genre inside of that music. So it is very clear to me that you have been experimenting with other genres, with even reggae also.
Definitely.
All right. So we're going to take a break. We have Cashpot coming up in a few. So let me take a break. And then when we come forward, we'll go a little deeper. So we have live inside of our studio, Princeton. Princeton Brown is his name. What an interesting young man he is. And one of the things that I said to his dad, because his dad is more like a dad, you know? His dad is not really like, whoa, yeah, Biggie. No, his dad is like, yes, and he needs to do that, and he needs to get this together, and you know, a real dad. But, you know, one of the things that I said to his dad is, this is a star. This kid is a star, a superstar. And his dad is like, yeah, need for y'all teach physics some more too. And because him not go waste the BSc, you know. No, him not go waste that thing there. And I'm like, yeah, man, but you realize that you have yourself a superstar. Yeah. Anyway, Love and Harmony Cruise. We're going to be telling you more about Love and Harmony Cruise in a few. We soon come. Thank you very much. That was the Lunchtime Dollars Pick 2, Pick 3, Pick 4 Cash Pot Draw. So, Love and Harmony Cruise, 5 days and 4 nights, non-stop party cruise to Ocho Rios. And day 1 is going to be on Monday, the 27th of February. Day 2 is Tuesday, the 28th of February. Day 3, March 1, that's the Wednesday, and then day 4 is on March 2, that's the Thursday. And on day 1 is the welcome party, and Beresford Hammond and Raga Shanti will be there. Day 2, it's called the International Flag Night and Soca Party, with performances by Edwin Yearwood, Arita, Queen Ifrika, and I Wayne. Day 3, the Love and Harmony all-white concert, performances by Beresford Hammond, Lost Third World, and Wayne Wonder. And day 4 is the dancehall night, and the performances by Conscience, Elephant Man, Shabba Ranks, and Dexter Daps.
To you I'd be nothing can come to infinity. Still there's no number I'd rather be.
Thanks for joining us on Heart, Mind, and Soul to Soul. My special guest is Princeton Brown. And we have been listening to this one and enjoying this one to the fullest. This one is called Be Your One. Thanks for joining us. Let me ask you this, Princeton, because you do so many things, because you know so many musical instruments, because you sing, because you also produced, it must be very difficult to please you.
No, not at all.
Like, for example, when you go into the studio, let us say you have a producer and he does one thing. How easily are you satisfied with what he has done? And does all of this knowledge sometimes come in the way? Don't look at him, please.
Well,
and just come from your heart. I want to know if you're hard to please. If you're hard to please, you're hard to please. And then you're going to tell me why.
In general, no, I'm not hard to please. But when it comes to music,
yes,
music is something that I take very, very seriously. And I always tell my father and everybody who I'm working with in music, you cannot rush art.
You can't rush art.
You know, so I'm not, in general, with any situation, I'm not very hard to please in certain things. But if it's something I care very, very deeply about and know a lot about, then that's kind of different.
Can I say something? There was a project that you worked on, and your dad was telling me that you weren't satisfied with whatever. And then when I heard the other, even this song here, there was another version to this song, right?
Yes.
And then when I heard this one, I said, This is it. So I'm sure that it might get in the way sometimes because probably the producer says, Lord God, me can't, but I want the Princeton, I go like, what have mercy on for please. But at the end of the day, it's your product, you know.
It's true.
At the end of the day, it is your product.
It's true.
And if you are not satisfied with what you are putting out, it don't matter who else satisfied.
It's true.
So, you know, I am going to suggest that you might be miserable, but it's good miserable.
Oh, yes, for a good cause.
It's for a good cause. Absolutely. All right, let's get a little deeper now. It is said that to whom much is given, much is required. You have been given a lot. You have a stable family life. You have loving parents. You are raised in a community that supports you. And you have been given a lot. What is your mission? Is there a mission?
There is a mission. And the reason why I feel so strongly to do this music is because I want to live my life for others.
Okay.
And I want to give back. And the connection that I have in my music and that I see that I can resonate with other people and connect through my music is just beyond me. And it's just something that I saw when I was starting out and I would never want to lose.
So what would you say your mission is in the music?
My mission is to bridge the gap between all peoples of the world. No matter what your race is, what your background is, I want everybody to just come together and know that they can enjoy themselves and resonate in the messages and the joyfulness in the music that I bring.
And you've been doing that so far because a lot of your music just speaks to the heart of people rather than the hearts of a certain kind of color person or whatever. But you are of mixed race and you have been exposed to different cultures. I'm hoping that it allows you to see the world of people in a more balanced way. What would your message be to a bigot or a racist of whatever race? What would your message be to that person?
My message would be, we human beings are our brothers and sisters. We are composed of a similar DNA, and there are many more commonalities between each other than there are differences. And so whatever anger and whatever issues that we might have and we might fight with each other, those are all based upon usually exterior things that, you know, most time are out of our control. And we react. Human beings react to situations, and that's being human. But at the end of the day, it's just to remember that we are all brothers and sisters, and we are all in this together.
You know, His Imperial Majesty says we must come together on what affects us all, as opposed to being separated or divided by our differences. And for somebody who is so young, that answer is so profound because we have more in common than we are different.
Definitely.
And I'm sure that tell me one of the biggest setbacks that you have and one of the greatest difficulties you have trying to convince the whites on one side of you and the blacks on one side of you that we are the same person. I'm sure there's a little bit of tug and war every now and then.
All the time.
Tell me about it.
Well, growing up in the situation of America and how people in our history and the stereotypes that people take on, it's just hard to convince people and show them otherwise. But as you said, I was fortunate to grow amongst many different friends and many different people. And, you know, some people say they are colorblind and some people say, you know, that can't be true, you know. How can you be colorblind? But, you know, ever since I fall in love with music and I can connect with every single person, it's just, you know, I've discovered that we are just all the same people, and it is my mission to bring everybody together. So
I love that. You know, I've had the privilege of being on different continents and watching the power of music unite people without them even realize it's uniting them. Because I've seen Jamaican black-skinned musicians on stage in Europe, And there are white Europeans that I'm sure perhaps on a normal day would not even be relating to us, just being totally swept away by our music. And I have watched those audiences just naturally for those few nights just come together and forget what color they are and come together just by music.
And you see, that's the beauty of music, because it's different. Music has a way. It's the initial way you greet somebody, or the initial way you try and bring people together. And music has just an easy and powerful way in that, if your music is positive and joyful, because we all recognize the same type of beats and we all recognize music. Music is a universal language. So if you can speak music and create music and do music, you can be friends with just about anybody. But it's just
I love that. And we all want to be happy. We all want to feel good. We all want to feel free. And you're so right, because I've watched people having a wonderful time with reggae that is being sung in raw patois. And they don't even speak English.
True.
And they just know that this is a good feeling. And they just get carried away on this good energy.
True.
What a powerful thing. Absolutely. All right. What does spirituality mean to you? It means different things to different people. What does spirituality mean to Princeton?
Spirituality for me is, what do you believe in? If it's a higher power, if it's God, if it's even your own, parents or family, it's what you believe in, what you stand for, and a reason for you to wake up every day and a reason for you to live your life.
What is your spirituality?
I grew up being Christian. I was baptized and I grew up believing God. So that is my spirituality.
Yeah, Christian.
Yes.
All right. I think we've already heard about how much you love Jamaica and about how much you love Jamaican culture. But life is not all good.
True.
What is it about our culture, the culture that you have embraced, that you don't like? And what would your message be?
Well, Jamaica is... We set a lot of trends in Jamaica. Some of them good, amongst around the world as they would define as good, and some of them bad. And because we set those trends, we Jamaicans, a lot of us follow trends as well. And so it's hard when certain people grow up in certain situations and them kind of forced to follow a certain trend because of who them around and who's around them and what they see. So a lot of people don't have the opportunity to see even what I've seen and see a different light. And if you don't know what's on the other side, you just don't know, and you reflect what is around you. So those are some of the challenges and the things that I see.
You think that a lot of Jamaicans need more exposure?
I would say exposure is good for everybody.
Yeah.
And not just it's easy to go on the internet nowadays and get, see certain things, but it's a different thing when you get to really experience different type of exposure in real life. And that's what a lot of people around the world, not even just Jamaica, are not fortunate enough to have.
You are so right. You are so right. There's a school of thought that says that every Jamaican should get a visa and get a chance to travel. And perhaps if we got that chance to travel, we'd come right back here. Because we are here yearning for other people's culture and not realizing that other people out there are yearning for ours.
And you see, that probably is one of the reasons which really contribute to my love and passion for this place, is because I grew up majority of my life in America, in Minnesota. But every single time I am blessed enough to come back here, which I call this home as well. It's, I get to see both sides, and that's just the beauty of the thing.
Yeah, I hear you. And I know you call this home because every time we talk about Jamaica, I mean, I see the appreciation that you have for how you're raised. But you need to see your face every time you start talking about Jamaica. There is a light. There is a light. And then there's this song that you did, Jamaica. And we're going to close with that song. But before we close with that song, I'm going to ask you to tell us what inspired that song, but we're not ready yet. What you spoke about food earlier on, and,
Yes,
and you know, it is just so good that in a time like this, in the advent of plastic rice
Yes. True.
and plastic food,
True.
that you spoke about food and Jamaican food. What's your favorite Jamaican food?
Boy, jerk chicken, rice and peas. You know, my father makes some of the best jerk chicken.
Really?
I'll tell you that. I eat saltfish. I eat yam, fried plantain, banana, steamed dumpling. With anything, gotta have a couple of dumpling, not just one.
Some cartwheel, big
Yes.
dumpling, yeah. All right. What else? Aki and saltfish.
Aki and saltfish, kalaloo, boy, the avocados down here. See, the thing is, what I notice is that there's a certain type of energy and a certain type of realness that comes out of the fruits and the vegetables down here that they grow. So just about anything that can be created out of what we grow down here, trust me, it's beautiful.
Nice. And you know, you're very fortunate, you know. You're very fortunate, one, to have a dad who is not just Jamaican, but a dad who come from country and love food. Your father can eat, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what your father tell me one time about how much food him did eat down white curry. But... But your father love food, and you have a dad who is Jamaican who can actually cook. So your experience of Jamaican food is you're fortunate. You're really very fortunate. All right, let's go back to the music a bit now. I know that you're thinking about, or perhaps in the process of, building a recording studio here in Jamaica. Let's talk a bit about that.
This has always been a dream of mine, to build a recording studio down here and work not only for my music, but for many other artists who need a place to record, and a lot of undiscovered artists. You know, those are the people who I really feel attached to and wanna big up. And you know, it comes from me being a producer first and foremost, even before becoming an artist. You know, so. A lot of times I've come down to Jamaica in the earlier years. I've gone to studios and I used to just bring rhythms with me. Before ever becoming my own artist, I just bring rhythms that I produce, and that was just one of the biggest joys, was to go to the studio and, you know, be with an artist and have them sing on a song, and it was just like, whoa, like I fell in love with it. And ever since that, you can't find these vibes in Jamaica when it comes to making, especially reggae music, but just really music in general. Music vibrates on this island in a different way that even a physicist like me don't understand. So,
Physics has ill prepared you for.
Yes.
All right, nice. And then again, you know, that also comes back to the Jamaican roots again when you're telling me about the fact that your dad would just toast on some rhythm. You see how special the rhythm, that rhythm.
True.
You see me? Yeah, we love that. So you're thinking of and planning to build a record studio, particularly to help upcoming artists.
Definitely. Well, that's definitely one of the big highlights of the studio, yes.
And of course, to produce your own stuff.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. Here in this part of Jamaica?
Yes, we would like to find a place somewhere near Runaway Bay, but St. Anne, yes.
Right. That's just about where your dad is from, too. All right. Let's talk about your production company. Do you actually have a production company, or are you thinking of a production company?
Yes, this is a Prince Murray Music, is a production company that me and my father started, and we're building from the ground up. So it's starting with my music, but with all the amount of reggae rhythms I have built up in my computer, which hundreds I can't even count, this is something that we want to develop and continue and build from down here in Jamaica and bring it all over the world. So. All
right, we're closing off now. Is there anything that you want to mention that we have not spoken about? Anyone you want to touch base with, to big up? You know, we do it as Jamaican.
Well, first and foremost, I got to give thanks, Elise Kelly, for having me here. It's a blessing to come on your show and be a part of this show with you.
You're most welcome.
I got to big up my parents, first and foremost as well, for always being there from day one and supporting me through everything that I do. I got to big up my engineers, Barry O'Hare, Gary Sutherland, for all the great work that they do. I have my drummer back in Minnesota, who I work with, Greg Schutte. Video production down here, Snow, big up yourself. Linva Jackson back in Minnesota, big up yourself. Always been there from day one. And Diplomat down here, big up yourself, man. Curry, definitely. Once I've been to your restaurant, man, I fall in love every time. And big up yourself, man. Just keep doing your thing. And all of the Runaway Bay crew who has been here with me, supporting and on the streets and promoting the music with me. And it's always great vibes and good times. So big up all of them.
Nice, beautiful. All right, we're going to close off with Jamaica now. So let's talk about this song as we close off with Jamaica and what inspired this beautiful song. This is a song that really attracted Jamaicans to you, because the first time I put this on, I didn't even have to say 2 words. The people were like, Mama, oh, that, yeah, no. So let's talk about this song.
Yeah, this song was a song that I wrote around the time that it did come out. We brought down a keyboard down to my house, and I plug it in the wall, sitting on my hammock, or near my hammock, and I'm looking out at the ocean. And the first thing that come out to the song was a dun 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 dun, dun piano part, and then I just started singing. I think I found my, and it just come naturally because I'm just looking out at the beautiful island and just all the experiences that I've had amongst the people and everything from the time that I was just a baby. And it just came naturally as the first thing as soon as I did touch down in Jamaica. It's just what my heart felt. I was so happy to be here again and amongst everybody. And that's just what came out of my keyboard. And that's the song that we have here today.
Absolutely beautiful song. Like I said when I just started this program, you have been blessed. You have been blessed, as I said before, with good parents. You have been blessed with a community that supports you. And there's just so many things you've been blessed with. And one of the things that I love about you, as I said before, is that there are many people who have been blessed and become haughty. You have been blessed and you are so humble. You are gracious, but at the same time, you are confident. That's a wonderful combination. We expect great things from the Princeton.
Give thanks.
So we're going to be looking forward to great things from you, Princeton. And the fact that you are familiar with so many different cultures just makes it even more likely for you to cross over all these cultures. All the best. Jah guide and protect.
Give thanks. Thank you.
I think I found my paradise. Little island in the ocean is so nice. The sun is always shining so bright. Can't even tell when the day turns to night. Smiles on the face so wide, with open arms that welcome you inside. Come take a trip to the other side and taste my paradise. Talking about Jamaica, Jamaica, where everything is alright. Talking about Jamaica, Jamaica.
Well, the first comment says, Mama, right now, me are still gonna eat jerk chicken and rice and peas.
Jamaica, for the longest while. And if you wanna go, just let me know, and I'll take you to my sweet Jamaica.
Taking us to sweet Jamaica. This one says, fraternal greetings, Princeton. That excellent, superb one, Jamaica, caught our outer and inner ears from day one. Lyrics and musical accompaniment is awesome. Steel band, brata and all. Thanksgiving and I'm more strength singer. You are a priceless diamond within the creative world. Fraternally Rasili. Now this is an elder, This is an elder Rastaman, And I'm telling you, you are going to touch people in places that you wouldn't even believe.
Jamaica, where everything is alright. Talking about Jamaica, Jamaica, but there's no worries inside. Talking about Jamaica.
This one says, blessed love, my sister Elise, refreshing interview. Princeton Brown, love your clarity, perfection is in the mind, but we can go as close as possible. And hold on a little bit. Hold on, you see what we have to put up with this text line here. Let me read it again. Blessed love, my sister Elise, refreshing interview. Princeton Brown, love your clarity, perfection is in the mind, but we can go as close as possible and not get confused and seem miserable. We need to see you on shows in Jamaica to get familiar with the eye, and that's coming from Empress Suzanne.
If you fall in love at first sight, the time of
This one says, greetings, Mama. To have Princeton after the master, the Honorable Jimmy Cliff, is a joy to many. He has broken many barriers in his young life. Many more awaits this genius. Stand strong, Prince. More music to the world. The Princeton from Mama family. Love Mama always. Mama family is a Trenchtown family. I just want you to understand the depth and breadth of people who are going to appreciate love this young man. And I'm telling you something. To know him is to love him.
the sun is always shining so bright. Can't even tell when the day turns to night. Smiles.
Elise, I'm listening in Trelawney. Nice interview. How could I get his music? Love to have a video for my show. Love to have a link so that I may have him on my show. Jamaica. Okay, so I got number and I got email address. Okay, we're gonna be passing on all those details to you, all right?
Talking about Jamaica for the longest while.
We got this one from my sister Tanya with an eye who says, blessed afternoon, sis. Princeton just mash up my meds and shift my head with him rational and simple living. His variation from here to there, yard is just on point. The food is top priority. It's like want it, can't get it, and get it, you know, want it. You're another one, you ever hear your father with that one day, yes? Hey, want it, can't get it, and get it, you know, want it. I know that's not all, but many. To hear a young youth echo the food thing and the physical, social interaction really touch deep because it's exact. Bless up this young youth with his balance, focus, and innate ability to do music. He will definitely accomplish his mission. Please ask Princeton if he is only concentrating on music right now, because a young youth with a BS in physics has tons of side options. You know something? Princeton really has parents who are thinking way out of the box. His dad is always encouraging him to use up his degree. Then my sister said, brop, there goes my answer, teacher. A young youth in the field of education is one of the best career field to start. The respect will be indelible. I hear you drool. I hear you drool over John Legend and one you. Yeah, I love me my John Lennon, of course I do. All right, then we got this one now from hold on a little bit now. Oh, this one is from Cockburn Pen. Blessed love, Mama. Cosmic energy you bring to the people, them. The movement is real. We're having a lovely day. All right, we give thanks for that. Loving day, heart, mind, and soul to soul from Cockburn Pen. I want to say a very special good afternoon to Cockburn Pen. And this one now is from Ralston. Ralston is from Twinkle Brothers. You know Twinkle Brothers, that group from way back. Love the interview. Just do your works. All musicians and singers just said, my springs are in thee. Go on to the thing. Much strength, and it's coming from Twinkle. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to talk about some more. I know we have more comments. Lovely, beautiful, nice. Okay, so for the individual, I'm not quite sure if you're a man or a woman who left your number, your Jamaican number, and your New York number, and your email address. Tracy has written it down. She's going to be passing it on to Team Princeton, and hopefully you will hear from them soon. This one says, bless up yourself, Mama. Mr. Princeton words are really motivating. Even though the interview has ended, I'm still hearing every word he said in my mind right now. He's very inspiring. I would listen to him all afternoon. Tamara from Prattville, South Manchester. Bless up yourself. All right. Thank you very much for responding so positively. And then this one is from Simon, who says, Mama, simple, up. Beautiful. This one says, Mama, we welcome him here. And now, him go get big. This is Valerie from Spanish Town. Big up yourself, mama. Heart of love. I love the cross-section of people, you know. That is what is really, you know, really very heartening. Enough respect for that. All right, want to say enough respect to Independent City in Portmore. We got this one from Mitzi Excitement who says, Mama, Princeton is making waves. You are going places. You shall overcome. I just set your Princeton. You love your birthplace. Tell them you are indeed a Jamaican. Set it, Mr. Brown. Mitzi Excitement says so. I'm here laughing, but I'm fine. I laugh, you know. You know them good. All right, bless up yourself. All right. This one is from Kyle in Mandeville, who says, upon a day off like this, all me need is a meds like that. Respect, my brother. Welcome to Jamaica, man. Must can leave you with my original Jamaican poem, The Color Jamaican. We not go take that right there, no, because it kind of longish. But Kyle, bless up yourself and thanks for being entertained by this young man, Princeton. All right, so we have news coming up in a few. Thank you so very much for your response to this young man, Princeton. And before we go, it's now 1:53. Before we go, I want to say happy birthday, Hopeton. Hopeton in Toronto having a birthday today. Have yourself a wonderful day and a happy birthday. Tamara says I must play that Jamaica song again. I can't play it again because we're running out of time, but I love it just as much, and I'm sure our other listeners love it just as much. A few birthday greetings before we go. Happy birthday greetings to Audrey Powell from Harborview in Kingston, celebrating her birthday today, and it's coming from Pauline. I think the other one got rubbed out. Want to say good afternoon to Ryan O'Neill from the Big Apple. Bless up yourself. And he says I must load it up same way. Big up Auntie Sugar and Auntie Nene. Hear them name there up there in Montego Bay, St. James, and in Barnet Bush. Bless up yourself. And Papa Weng, you bless up yourself and bless up your good friend Millicent Gibson, otherwise known as Humble, Kind, Loving, Free. Wow, what a whole heap of things she otherwise known as. Can you bring up my very good friend Millicent Gibson, otherwise known as Humble, Kind, Loving, Free, and Seductive? Cool now, man. Bless up yourself.
Oh, our Father, who art in Zion, always be thy name. Thy kingdom come on earth, thine will be done on earth. Always be thy name.
Now 1:56, and this is how we say so long. Certainly hope you enjoy the music that we played and the conversations that we had. I love you, my brother. I love you, my sister, whoever you are, whether you worship in your church, kneel in your temple, or pray in your mosque. You and I are children of one faith. For the diverse paths of religion are fingers of the loving hand of one supreme being, a hand extended to all, offering completeness of spirit to all, eager to receive all. Father Time, Mother Earth willing, we do it together again. Leaving you with Jimmy Cliff, and when we did that interview last week on Heart, Mind and Soul to Soul, I constantly hear his voice in my mind saying, we always say, oh my God. Why don't we say, oh my goddess? and so he wrote this song and called it, Oh My Goddess. This is how we say so long.
You're more than a woman, you're the womb of a man. You're more than a lady, you're the mother of the baby. You're more than a housewife, you're the nurturer of life. And day after day, I've got to say,